Welcome to Go Sports Tactics. I'm here with one of the best in the business, attacker on the snake side of the field, Keith Brown, Tampa Bay Damage.
It's one of those things I actually learned over time with playing the tournament and the games before. You'll see Brendikoff makes a Brendikoff shot and shoots me over the top. I didn't even know he could see over the top. You see him in the middle of the field right there. He is going to run the right 50 on the break. That's where he really wants to go.
Welcome to Go Sports Live. I'm Matty Marshall, and I'm happy that Paintball is back. We got a lot to talk about here. I got Cody Mickowski on the show today. He's going to be on one of the upcoming episodes of the Ultimate Shootout. Going to get his thoughts on a bunch of different things. Going to talk about the regional brackets and the conferences. We're going to talk about the rebuild of Los Angeles Infamous, which, because of all of this stuff that has happened, we really haven't got a chance to talk about. It's only been one event that we got to watch them play, so we're going to dissect that. And we're going to talk about the Ultimate Shootout and also, but don't forget, we got a lot of content coming your way as Paintball is starting to get back going. We got the new episode of the Ultimate Shootout that's coming out this Saturday, June 6th. And that's going to be a really good one, man. BJ Henningberg taking on Ryan Hall. Hopefully you guys have caught the first episodes from last week. If you hadn't, I'm not going to spoil it, but you got to go check it out. But yeah, Cody's going to be in one of the upcoming episodes with a pretty awesome group of guys here. We're going to talk about that. And again, yeah, lots of content. We're doing live shows either Wednesday or Thursday, definitely Fridays. Tomorrow, I got Tyler Harmon coming on the show, talk about defending his Pro Tour belt against Keith Brown, and also the 7-man coming up June 19th. So yeah, man, paintball's starting to get back here. I'm excited about it. Cody, how are you doing out there, man?
I'm doing great. Living up here in Wisconsin, we've been open for a little while, so been able to play paintball a bunch. We've been practicing for at least 5 weeks now. And then my regional team just won a regional tournament last weekend, actually. So it's been all good here and glad to be back at it. Summer's here, nice 80 degrees, and back to paintball.
So you're saying that you're going to have the edge on people is what you're saying, because if you guys didn't have to head into the quarantine that a lot of us did, I think that, I already feel that you are one of the most underrated guys. I feel like if people have been watching you play, particularly for the past couple seasons, but your entire career, but if they've watched any Infamous games, man, especially when things are not going well for Infamous and the low body stuff that you've been able to pull off. So I want to talk about how you got to the position you're in right now. Looking forward to talking about what your thoughts are on the Ultimate Shootout. But I think that if you've been able to continue to play, you're going to have a leg up, because some of these guys, at least last week or 2 weekends ago, when I was in Texas for the first one, some of those guys hadn't been able to play in like 5 weeks. So they had to kind of knock a little bit of the rust off right before the event. And I'm not going to lie, they were a little scared to go out there and not perform their best.
Yeah, I mean, we've been able to play. Obviously, when there's not an immediate event to train for, it's tough to go out and give it, 110% the whole time. But we had some good drill sessions, good practice. Like I said, getting my regional team ready to go. Yeah, I'm confident. It'll be fun. Anyone that knows me, I love one-on-ones. It doesn't matter who, what, when, or where. I'll play a one-on-one against anybody, and I'm looking forward to it. The new format looks super fun, and it definitely adds a dynamic twist to the game. So,
well, I want to get your thoughts. Well, we might as well talk about that right now then, since you brought it up. So you're going to be playing an Ultimate Shootout. The list is so far confirmed. J-Rab, we had him on the show last week, talk about it. Harrison Fry, Fred Berkeley, Nick Sloviak. Harrison Fry actually hit me up before the event went down, because Archie couldn't make it, scheduling conflicts. And he was like, dude, get me in there. Are there any spots? So I'm happy that Harrison was able to come in. So we got some Infamous guys coming in here. Impact with Justin Rabikoff. We got Fred Berkeley, who's the best player on the Fort Wayne Outlaws. Yourself, TJ Danner, who helped me do some commentary at the last one. His knee is starting to heal up, get himself to 100%, which he injured last year. And then Chad Boucher as well, too. So we'll see who that 8th guy is. But so how did you get the call? I mean, who hit you up? Was it Paulie? Did Paulie hit you up and was like, yo, dude, do you want to play in this new format, or what's the deal?
Yeah, Travis shot me a message and he's like, "Hey, Paulie's looking for guys." He's like, "You're my best one-on-one guy. You want to do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." And then I texted Paulie instantly, and it wasn't. There's no convincing needed. It's like when, where. All right, I'll be there.
I
The
got it.
list that you named off, the list of players you
Go ahead.
named off is pretty cool because I've been teammates with every single one of those people except for J-Rab and TJ. So in terms of a one-on-one style and being, practices for over the years with each, different guy, I think they'll know what I'll bring to the field.
I just think that from a strategic standpoint, and you got to go, everyone needs to go and check out that first episode, but there are multiple ways to win in the ultimate shootout. You have points for kill streaks, so I kind of want to get your thoughts on the rules. So you get a kill for each elimination. You get a point for each kill, each elimination. If you get 3 of those in a row, every kill after that gives you 4 points, a point for the kill and then 3 for the kill streak. Each buzzer is worth 3 points. And then 8 seconds before you start, we're calling them rounds, each engagement. Because in the NXL, we call them points, but it's a little confusing because you can literally score a ton of points in one round. So we can't just call that a singular point. But yeah, 8 seconds before the start of the round, the smoke blows and the bonus buzzer is announced, which could then alter your strategy at the last second. But it just allows for different ways to win. We saw guys win using just kill streaks. We saw guys win hitting buzzers. We saw a mix of the two mostly, but it definitely, there's at least 3 potential ways. And then, the buzzer hit doesn't end the round. A kill is the only thing that ends the round. So, and I will say this is that somebody did hit all 3 buzzers in one round. We didn't know if that could be done, but it was done at the very first event that we went to. So what are your thoughts on the rule set?
It's definitely unique, and it adds, like you said, different strategies to the game. It's a race to 20 points, and I think the best strategy to take is how to be most unpredictable. Sometimes you might go for the kill right away, sometimes you might go for the buzzer right away, and from a couple guys I've talked to, they said the cardio is super important. So I think come the later rounds and ends of the matches on your race to 20, if they go long, you're going to need to be in some pretty good physical shape. And then that also might determine what style of play you're going to use. If you're going to be real aggressive and go for the buzzer, or if you're going to, sit back and let the guy come to you in a way. So after seeing the dimensions of the field, though, too, it's you don't have much wiggle room. It's going to be fast paced. It's going to be, in your face, and a lot of kills happen real early. So we'll see what strategy works the best.
It is gunfighter's paradise, but a fast, aggressive guys. That's what I was interested about when I first went to see this. I saw the rules, I saw the beta test footage. When I showed up to watch the actual event, there was a couple things I was unsure of. One, how much legit shit was gonna be talked that wasn't just for the show, and it was. I wouldn't say it was excessive, but there was a lot of it. It was definitely enough to make it really fun to watch, because they'd be talking to us and I'd have to, we're doing the show and I'm like, what did he say? And then it was great, man. It was super fun. And and who we have coming up for this next one. So it just got really heated. And this is why I got to tip my hat to all the guys that are willing to play in this. It's a little intimidating to go into a one-on-one. There is no team to save you. Yes, you can bring a coach. I'm wondering if Travis is going to come down to help you guys out, or if he can't make it. I mean, that is quite a trip, but having Ryan Brand there definitely can help out. But also, anyone that's watched MMA, mixed martial arts, you watch the UFC, sometimes having too much information when you're in a fight can also hinder you. That happened most recently at one of the UFCs that watched. And so it's just interesting. There's a lot of different elements to it. But yeah, but for sure, dude, hit the streets, bro. Get your cardio on. Be doing that hit training. You definitely need to get some jogging on, because the more stamina you have, the better, because it definitely is going to drag everyone into the deep water from a physical, tenacity, physical stamina elements for sure. And then it's definitely going to get a little heated on the chirping as well too. That's why I'm interested to see, because some of these matchups could get really interesting. I mean, you could end up playing your brother-in-law either right out the gate, if the matchmakers, if it ends up being that way, or you could see him in the finals. Who knows? If you ended up because you guys are both amazing one-on-one players. But this is one of the reasons I like watching you play, and I think that I just love watching you. Dude, you're not the smallest guy. I mean, you're definitely nimble. I mean, for a bigger dude, but being a dude who's over 6 foot myself and now over 200 pounds because I love beer so much and I'm not as young and my knees don't really work as well as they used to. But I really appreciate it when guys like you, guys like Nick, Dave Baines, before he retired, when these bigger dudes can play the game at such a high level, they can be all-stars, they can be MVPs, they can be the best player on their team on any given day. So I got to tip my hat that you were willing to play, because it is right up your alley as far as what you're good at. I mean, you are really good when the scramble happens and you're one of the last players or the last player left alive out there. Have you always just been innately good at one-on-ones or in low body situations, or is that something you trained specifically for?
Growing up in Wisconsin, there wasn't really like a lot of divisional teams or, pro teams to play against or anything like that. So when I really wanted to get good at paintball, it was drilling by myself, a lot of that, and a lot of one-on-ones with like the next best player or anything like that. So the one-on-one thing just came natural. And then I wrestled in high school. So like the one-on-one competition side of it is always right there. So one-on-ones are still, to this day, I do all the time. And I always joke with the guys, and, Travis has instilled this before in practice where we end a day with a one-on-one tournament. So, I'm for it all the time.
If you had to play somebody with the list of guys that I already read off, who would it be? I mean, I'm not saying you need to call someone out right now, and then maybe the matchmakers are listening, but that could happen. I haven't heard the matchups yet, so.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'll play anyone. If you look at the list, Nick just won the first event of the year. So you want to take down the guy on top right away, why not? Otherwise, Justin Rabikoff has been one of the elite players for years and years and years. So I don't care. Whoever wants to play.
So what did you think about? I don't know if you got a chance to check out the first episode, but who did you think was going to be the favorite in that first tournament? We had. Okay, yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, he's the best player in AC Dallas. He won the Golden Barrel last year. I think, and I had to say this to him too when he showed up at the event. I was like, dude, thank you for coming and putting your glory up at stake here, because it's kind of tough, man. If you're a guy like Matt Jackson, I mean, you've gotten a lot of kudos. You've earned the respect the hard way. He did not start out as one of the best players in Texas. He's become that. But if you do look at that list of guys that showed up to play that event, Fuzzy's definitely, the odds. If we were making Vegas odds for this, he would be the favorite at that event. But what is interesting about this format is that, you never really know who's going to win, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to leave it at that, because I'm not giving anything away. But yeah, I do agree that Matt Jackson had to be the favorite, at least heading in.
Yeah, and Infamous, when we practice, typically for the first and last event, we always try to go to warmer weather. So we're going to Texas a lot. We practice X Factor and AC Dallas quite often. So, I see what they bring to the field. I see what Fuzzy brings to the field. Jesse Stevens and Dimitri from X Factor, they both have that versatility, though. So I could see them easily upsetting Fuzzy if we're doing the Vegas odd thing. But with like the size of them, getting around to those buzzers around the, car wash and other bunkers, it can be deceiving to other guys. So I could see them, making a good push for it with their size advantage in this situation. Yeah.
And then I think heading into the event that you're going to play and looking at the cast there, the roster of guys, that's also, there's a lot of really, you said Nick just beat Archie in a one-on-one at the first event in Vegas in a big momentum shifter for the Los Angeles Ironman, and he did just win the event. He might actually be calling me. I'm not sure, because he called into the last show when I had Chad Boucher on, because Chad was calling him out, and then so Nick texted me. He's like, "Do I need to call in again?" ! And I was like, "I don't know. If you want, he did just call you out." I mean, I just love the fact that you guys. I just love the fact that it's your brother-in-law and that you guys have known each other for so long. It definitely, depending on how this tournament shakes out, it could make Thanksgiving pretty interesting. I know we got a lot of time before we go to get to that, but I don't know how often you guys get the family together. He's in Florida. You guys are up in Wisconsin. So, But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, man. I'm excited for everyone to watch the rest of the Ultimate Shootout. I'm excited to check out the Pro Tour that's going to be coming up too, and seeing Tyler Harmon battle Keith Brown. Chad, yeah, after our show, actually got a call from Marky at HK, and he was like, "Yo, dude, we're throwing you in against Pat Kraft, so there will be a second a one-on-one there as well too. So it's Chad versus Pat Kraft. We don't know who's playing who for the J-Rab, Harrison, Fred Berkeley, Nick Sloviak, Cody Mickowski, TJ Danners, Chad Boucher. With those matchups aren't set yet because that we still got some time. I think we're filming that one middle of next month. Did you get told a date yet as far as the filming is concerned?
Yeah, the July 10th or 9th, I believe. But I'm excited to come to the heat of Texas right in July. Sounds like a great time. So we've practiced there at Paintball Fit, and they've got the temp guns out there before, and it's been booming, 130 degrees or whatever on that turf. So cardio,
bro. Telling you, man, everyone's gonna need it. Well, let's talk a little bit about your history here because we definitely could talk about this forever, and I can't get you all night. But so where did you come up? How long you been in this game for? Where'd you get your start? And how did you get your game to this level?
So started playing my first paintball ever by a local flyer that got delivered to my mailbox at the Siege Paintball up here in Wisconsin. Showed up with $40 in my pocket, bought 500 paintballs, rented a gun, and I was hooked. I was like 12 or 13 years old, and then from there just did like the local scene, got on a couple local teams, and then 2007, I'm like, I really want to do this like big time. So I went down and started driving down to the Badlands where Chicago Aftershock always played. And didn't know anybody, had no ins, no friends, just showed up on the field and just kept showing up. And I'd play with like the most random guys against like the Aftershock line. And I'd get lucky and shoot like 3 of them or something like that. And then eventually Jeremy Salm noticed me and offered me a tryout. Played on Chicago Aftershock from 2008 till like 2012. And then had an opportunity to go start the Outlaw program with Jeremy and Mike Schlemmer with Trade My Gun, and did that for another like 4 or 5 years, and then came to Infamous, and I think it's my 4th season here or something like that. So not a team hopper. I like to stay in my place and do my time, and it's tons of great memories from each place, and it's been fun. I don't plan on retiring anytime soon. That's for sure.
I feel like you're just hitting your stride, man. I feel like every year you're one of those guys that just ages like a fine wine. You just get a little bit better. Now you're not that old yet. I mean, you are still, as long as you have no, knock on wood, no bad injuries. How are you holding up durability wise?
Perfect. No issues whatsoever.
Well, see,
bigger,
this is
faster,
the
stronger.
good thing about what's good. This is why it's kind of good to play that 2-3 sometimes, because yes, you may have to fill and get in that snake, but the ones, man, like that's why I always have to say, pat Billy Bernaccia and guys like that on the back, because he's like snake till I break, and it's just hard to run that spot and dive into that snake, especially during practice 20-30 times a day. It just beats you up. So the fact that you've been doing it that long, but if you want a long career, boys and girls out there, maybe try playing that 2-3 spot, play the Cody Mickowski role, play that Yosh Rao role. Unfortunately, most times you have to come up by playing the front guy. You got to cut your teeth that way, and then eventually you kind of get put in the back. Did you come up as a front player, or have you always played the position that you're currently in?
Nope, I came up the front Dorito player with Aftershock, and then when we were playing 7-man, I play front snake. Typically you'd have 2 or 3 guys ready to go in the snake. I'd either be the one of the 2 right away. And then I figured out how to lane. And then since I shot people off the break, I got to start at a back bunker. So, but I'm willing to go anywhere. I always joke with the guys on the team, because we got a lot of younger guys who play, the front spots. And then Thomas, who's still trucking in the snake at 74 years old, I think.
I think he's 75 this year, actually. But 75. He's getting up there. Yeah.
I always razz him when I got to go in there to clean it up or whatever the case, and get down and dirty. So
So you've been on Infamous now for 4 seasons. And dude, I'm not just saying it because we have you on the show. I mean, there's a reason why when people started talking about, okay, what Infamous guys would we want in the Ultimate Shootout? And anytime we talk about top level dudes on Infamous, I mean, the statistics, keep stats for a reason. Sure, we're not going to get every single kill. That's why it's called confirmed kills and not just kills. Because, man, I don't care how good you are at watching paintball. I'm gonna watch paintball forever. You're still gonna miss kills live every now and then. But you're the top. You were the top killer from Vegas, and this isn't the first. The first time that you've done that. And again, for the position that you play, I've just been really astounded by your ability to keep your wits about you when the game devolves. The puzzle pieces start changing, and the front players are coming off, or moves are being made. More often than not, if a big fill needs to happen, or a couple guys need to get cleaned up, or a move needs to happen to aggressive or defensive, either doing a tactical retreat, a move out wide to spread the field, or a move to just push or to bring the hammer out and smash down and get a little 2-pack to finish. More often than not, you're in that you're in that mindset and you're in that mode, and you are the guy that does that for Infamous. So it's not surprising to me. But so before we kind of talk about the team a little bit and how you guys did at the last event, because eventually we are going to get into having NXL events with these regional conferences. I want to get your thoughts on the regional conferences before I let you go. But how do you look at, as far as the strategy of your position and your team? How are you looking? Is that something that just kind of that comes to you? Is that something you train? How are you so good in those moments when the scramble sets in?
Probably just experience. Experience is one of the biggest things in paintball, and having the mental ability to break it down as it's coming at you. No hesitation, making the right move. Something like that's always big with experience. And then, with playing for different coaches over the years, they always add different input. Travis has opened up, my eyes as a player, especially from like the back man standpoint, because he played the back position for a long time, on how to be calm and be able to adapt in those situations. So, when we practice and we start playing or getting ready for an event, I really have no idea where I'm going to play on the field until probably like the third or fourth day. Then we kind of get a better idea of it, and then we get more reps in that position. But that's the style of practice we do, and it really lets you. I think that's a huge aspect, that when, let's say, we lose our whole Dorito side and I got to fill all the way back over there. Well, I played a bunch of reps on that Dorito side, so I know exactly, where the shots are and everything like that. So just the diversity of our team and the, practice style we use allows for those, later game situations to know exactly what moves got to be made.
Let's talk about the frustrating performance that you guys had in Vegas. I'm not going to beat you or the team up very much, to be honest, though, because I am a big fan of the squad. I played against Infamous years ago. I've known Travis Lemansky since he lived a couple blocks from me down in Pacific Beach when we were in our early 20s. And I just think that what Travis has done to keep this team alive, one of the most famous and notorious and infamous teams ever to grace a paintball field, is awesome. And I think that the moves he made to try to make the team more competitive this year are some of the best that they've been in years. I think that the roster that you guys have put out for that first event, as best the Infamous has been on paper. Now, as we well know, that's not always how it shakes out, but you guys barely even got started before we had to hit the COVID world, and that completely changed everything, which if I was Travis, I'd be super frustrated about. And also check out the new company that he launched with the Pro DNA stuff too. He's been involved in product development for years. I'm just a big fan of the program. Never played on Infamous. Travis isn't paying me, but I just, I like good people when I see them, and good programs when I see them, and Infamous is good for paintball. So let's talk about the frustrating performance, though. You guys did lose 3 games. You ended up taking 12th place. You had a real close plus or minus, 19 points for, 21 against, 88 overall points scored in the overall title, which I don't really think is going to mean much in 2020 because we're heading into a new world here. You lost a bunch of really close 1-point games, and you had 2 really tough games right out the gate against Dynasty and AC Dallas. So that first day, obviously, you guys go 0-2, which that was basically what you guys did every single event last year. You went 0-2. I think you did that the first 3 or 4 events until finally that changed, but you would make Sundays. Unfortunately, you guys didn't make it on to Sunday. But every single game you have, including your win against Level, was a 1-point match. So first day, you lose to Dynasty 5-6. You lose to AC Dallas 4-5. Let's start there. What did you think about that first day and how the team looked, and then just the vibe on the team during the rebuild this year?
In terms of the rebuild, the team's excited. Like we are all happy to be here. We got people from all over, but teammates on different teams back together. Greg had a stint on Infamous a while ago. I was teammates with him on Aftershock back in 2009 or 2010, I believe. But bringing Mike in, Harrison in, we have this huge different just mixed bag of players. And it's really a beautiful thing, but it just takes time to evaluate our situation and know each other better as players and how we're gonna react and adapt during the games. In preparation for Vegas, we were excited, we were good, 2 really good practices, and then going into that first day, we felt great. But then, like you said, 2 very close matches, but nobody needs to tell us anything. We know what we did wrong. We know how to fix it. We know what we got to do moving forward. But that's just with the years of experience on the team. So we are our own biggest critics. That's for sure.
Well, with the experience you guys have on that squad, you were the number 1 killer, Thomas Taylor behind you. You picked up Greg Sewers. He was Impact last year. He's been on Infamous. We always joke with Greg because he's been on the laundry list of all the top teams over the years. He's been on Infamous before. Then you got Harrison. You got Callie finally back too. You picked Cody Chong up. That's a guy that's also been in the Outlaw camp. And then you got Mike Waring coming up, who's also a speed demon. That's a great roster, man. That's a really solid, hyper-competitive roster that in a different world made Sunday, and then who knows what happens because you guys did have such close games in your first event of having that roster put together. I mean, and look what's possible. It must be pretty inspirational to you guys, every single team out there, the fact that the Ironman won the first event with a recently rebuilt roster with not a ton of superstars on that squad. That is what's possible. But again, you guys just had a few bad beats here and there, things that didn't go your way. And again, you guys ended up going 1-3, but with that really close, just a -2 on the points for versus against. Again, 19 points for you guys, 21 points against. Let's talk though about the state of the pro game right now, and the fact that when we still don't have the dates yet, and as soon as I know the dates, we'll let you guys know the dates as far as when these regional conference tournaments are actually going to happen. So, we got the West, the South Central, and the East. I think it's been pretty much now, I'm asking everybody about this. You can give me your thoughts on it, but almost every single person I've talked to on or off camera, on a show or drinking beers, everyone does think that the bracket that you guys are in, the East, as J-Rab said, is the most free, aka the easiest one. What are your thoughts? I mean, obviously, with as good as but we don't know if the Russians can get there. If the Russians are there or not, that's going to be huge. We hope, of course. I mean, I hope everyone in paintball, even you guys probably hope. Maybe, I don't know if anyone that's in there is, because if the Russians don't show up, everyone's got a better chance to win. But you got to give the Russians the nod there. Revo has been incredibly good. Extreme, Revo's made top 4, I think 3 or 4 times now. They're good enough to win an event. The Outlaws have been steadily improving. Energy and Level were pretty crazy. I mean, you guys had a 1-point game against Level. And then at San Diego Aftermath is in the East Coast division, just because even though the name San Diego Aftermath, with their rebuild last year, most of the dudes, it's easier for them to get to the East. But I think it would not shock anybody if you guys show up and you win the East. That would not shock me, man. With the roster you guys have, we don't know if the Russians are going to make it or not. We do not know the dates of this yet. But what do you think, Cody?
Yeah, I mean, I'd bet on ourselves, no doubt about it. You talk about the teams in the division, and in terms of experience, minus the Russians and Revo, we are probably the most experienced team minus the Russians. And then Revo's been extremely consistent over the last couple of years. They're playing good paintball. But the other teams, they can show up and have a good event, and they can show up and not play good paintball, and there's some new teams there. So In terms of divisions, yeah, our division's probably the like you said, most free. The South Division is rough, but the West Division, the West Division is pretty, I think, spread out as well too. You got kind of three top teams there, and then you got three kind of lower teams in a way. So, yeah, the regional things will mix it up a little bit. I think it'll add to a little bit of rivalries for some people, but it's whatever it takes to get playing paintball again, man. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, when the events are going to be, how close they are. Are they going to be to each other? Which one's going to be first? I did hear rumors about, I thought this probably they're trying to figure out where all these events are going to be held. I hear they're going to be at paintball fields. I think this is all smart. I mean, just something we can do with all this madness that's hit us in 2020, but we still have competitive paintball. I am stoked that the regional series I hear they're starting up again. I know Rabs League, UXSBL is going to be going off down in Texas here pretty soon. We got the Ultimate Shootout, the 7-man coming up here in California, Paris, California. So things are getting going. But yeah, man, I think the East is the easiest. The South Central is going to be that's going to be a damn bloodbath. The West, though, it just depends on what Uprising and Thunder show up. We know that DMG's been pretty even keel. They've made a Sunday here or there. They've gone 2-2 a decent amount. They got some really good solid guys on that team. They've been improving. You could say that about some of these other lower ranked teams that are trying to move their way up. But with Thunder and Uprising, we just have no idea, man. If Thunder shows up to play, who knows? They could shock the world. Uprising, same thing. I mean, Uprising's beat some of the best teams in the world, sometimes in a row. Go back to World Cup and check that out. I mean, it's just, but we just don't know what Uprising is going to show up, because Uprising took 19th at the last event. They went 1-3 with a negative 13, 10-23. Which boggled my mind, because I was like, okay, well, Uprising now they've pretty much got the same roster, and they could show up and maybe win a tournament. So, but it's just so tough to call. And the South Central is going to be a bloodbath. And then, the East, if the Russians can show up, you got to give them the favorite. But I mean, New York Extreme keeps getting better and better. They went 2-2 at the last event. They beat the Outlaws. They beat Revo by 1. They did get blown out by the Ironman, and then they only lost to X Factor by 2 in the prelims, but then they got smoked by X Factor in the wild card round on Sunday. So I don't know, man, it is going to be interesting. And then hopefully World Cup will be, all 20 teams back into it like we're hoping the rest of the year was going to be. It's just super frustrating, because when you look at how good, I'd like to get your thoughts overall on the pro game. I feel, and I don't think this is really that arguable, I think this is the deepest we've ever seen the pro game, as far as, how good some of these teams have gotten. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's just getting better and better at paintball. I mean, that's a fact. Everyone's skills are getting more and more improved. Everyone's movement, athleticism. I mean, you talk about our roster with speed. I mean, this is the fastest team we've had in quite some time. So you got to keep the edge up, and, playing pro paintball for as long as I have, when you get shot with a 1 ball from someone and you're just like, man, that was a really good shot, you tip your hat to the guy. And that stuff happens more and more. And then when you 1 ball someone and, they give it right back to you, in terms of respect, it's just the skill sets of each individual player has improved so much. And then some of the teams, they just work together so well. And, it's a continually growing sport in terms of like continuity and how the team operates. And then predictability, like that's the other aspect that I feel is super important. Back in the, X-Ball days when we were playing 20 some points, you pretty much knew what the other team was going to do just about every point. Nowadays, you have no idea. You can read some body language. You can kind of get like some intuitions on certain players, but the way that teams are mixing stuff up and coaches are calling plays, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, I just think that the fact that it's so easy now, it used to be so hard to try to watch other pro teams. I remember when I was a kid and I was at an event in Dallas and I wanted to go watch the Ironman play. I mean, first of all, it was a woods ball field way in the back that I had to try to find. I'd already kind of figured out which field was what. I had to get the schedule. I had to sneak away from the older dudes that ran the team that I was on, and then go and sneak into the woods and try to find it. And then you're standing on the sidelines, and it was so hard to go and watch those. There was very, very little video of it. There was just a couple shows on here or there. Now it's like all you can eat. You go on YouTube, you can take a clinic. You know, like you said, you were helping a divisional team, which is awesome. I mean, if you guys are trying to get better at paintball and you don't have somebody like Cody on your sideline telling you what to do, then you're really not, it's worth the money, man, because you're playing paintball, you're spending money anyway. You might as well have somebody that knows, that's been there and done that knows how to play paintball at the highest level. It's just, there's a lot there. And I think that over time, the evolution of it has just allowed guys to bring the best out of them. And then once you get the fact that you have the ability to train so much, the price of paint has come down too. People always complaining about the price of paint. Dude, I paid $120 for a case of paint when I was 16 years old. You know how much money that is to a 16-year-old making $4.25 an hour? That's like $1 million. But that's how much I wanted to, that's how much I loved paintball. And so, now now you can go get a decent case of paint for, 1/4 of that. That's crazy. So it's just the evolution of it over time. So I can't wait till we actually get back and have the 20 teams. And thank God we at least have something. So even though, the regional leagues, like I think it was Chad that was, saying how it was frustrating. He understood. Yeah, of course it's frustrating, dude. We're in a pandemic. It sucks. There's riots going on and I get it's madness right now. So the fact that we even have some sort of paintball being played is good. And I'm just happy that they're finally getting back to some semblance of normalcy somewhere, even though it is definitely not quite normal yet. We still got to be careful. And but yeah, man, it's crazy out there. I'm glad it looks super peaceful where you're at, though, man. You got the trees is blowing lightly in the breeze back there. Hear birds chirping.
The Midwest, gotta love it. But no, like you're saying though, everything is getting back to normal. Just this week or in the last 2 weeks, I've been able to add a couple things to the summer schedule in terms of paintball. There's more regional events popping up. I'm gonna go play a 5-man open mechanical next weekend, and then the ultimate shootout, and then ICC's right around right on the corner there. So there's optimism in the future. So we're going to keep on going, and hopefully these regional events get announced, and then we can start, getting the band back together and get training for that.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it, man. Well, I can't wait. You're my dark horse at this event, bro. I mean, J-Rab, Harrison Fry, Fred Berkeley, he's good too. Nick Sloviak, yourself, TJ, Dan, or Chad Boucher, there'll be one more in the mix too. But, you're definitely my dark horse to win this one for sure. So I wish you the best of luck. Anybody you want to thank? Anything you want to talk about before we sign off here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, got to thank the family, my wife and kids, always supporting me, allowing me to do all this. And the in-laws watching kids, that always helps. And then our sponsors, Infamous Paintball, that's our main go-to sponsor on everything now. Obviously, we Pro DNA gear, Eclipse guns, Pro Sharp paint. Bunker Kings we use for the loaders. I mean, we're hooked up on with the best gear in the game, Nike Paintball too. They all make it possible so we can go out and do this stuff when there's not a pandemic.
Yeah, right. Well, hey man, I wish you best of luck at the Ultimate Shootout when we get down there to Texas again. Dude, get your cardio up. It's gonna be the surface of the sun. And you got some Lions out there that are going to be hungry for it. So I can't wait to see it. And everyone out there, remember, we got the new episode debuting here Saturday, June 6th. We're going to be watching some one-on-one live. You'll be able to check out. And some 7-man paintball is back as well, too, courtesy of HK and the Pro Tour. Go Sports will be there as well, too. And, man, we're slowly getting after it. We'll also be, like I said, can't wait for Tim's event out there in at the legendary Field Urban Assault. So yeah, Iron City Classic's going to be sweet too. So yeah, paintball's getting back, man. We're definitely getting there. Cody, dude, I still feel people, you got to go back and watch the Infamous Paintball. Cody's it's just an underrated talent, man. And you've been highly impressive out there holding things down during those, those low body situations for your squad. And I really do think that you guys got a chance to win that regional event. Even if the Russians are there, I don't care. That the lineup that you guys have this year with Infamous is legit. So thank you so much for sitting in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We got Tyler Harmon coming on the show. Man, I can't wait for that one. Cody, thank you again. Thank you again so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, see you guys tomorrow. Welcome to Go Sports Tactics. I'm here with one of the best in the business, attacker on the snake side of the field, Keith Brown, Tampa Bay Damage.
It's one of those things I actually learned over time with playing the tournament and the games before. You'll see Brendikoff makes a Brendikoff shot and shoots me over the top. I didn't even know he could see over the top. You see him in the middle of the field right there. He is going to run the right 50 on the break. That's where he really wants to go.